So I'm excited to have this conversation with you on the sit down. We're going to be talking about all things. She's the coolest mom, the coolest Rakhadi. And she's an absolute legend in my eyes, and I hope she owns it. So yeah, let's go talk to Rami Chuene. On today's edition of the Sit Down Lifestyle, we are honored to be in the company of a woman who needs no introduction. We've seen her gracing our television screens, playing strong, powerful female roles such as Aunt Grace on Netflix's How to Ruin Christmas, The Wedding, and Tigom on The Queen. We've heard her on her radio serving us with jazz music on Thobela FM. We followed her as one of the leading voices in the fight for those who are exploited and vulnerable within the entertainment industry. And recently we've come to appreciate her work in translating the iconic Mphahlele's Father Come Home at the Market Theatre into Sepedi, amongst many other things. Ask anyone who has had the pleasure of being in the company of this iconic woman, and she will be described as fun, bubbly, and welcoming. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Rami Chuene to the sit down.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for making time for us amongst being nominated for the SAFTA Awards.
Wow.
I mean, I'm sure it would be a dream for anyone to interview you right now, and you made time for me.
Yes, the phone kept ringing off the hook. Not today, not today.
And I was like, please get me Rami, please, 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 please. Thank you so much. I think amongst the other things that we did not mention in that intro is how much of an iconic mom you are. You have 3 daughters.
Yes.
And I love how free-spirited you parent. And I don't know if I'm encapsulating this right, but you're so conscious in allowing your children to just be.
Yeah.
From one of your children opening up or having an OnlyFans account, and you were punting, like you were punting it and completely supporting her throughout the journey. And it seems very taboo to most people, right?
Yeah.
Of having a child who's free and liberated in that way. And you're about to be a grandmama.
Yay!
I'm loving the journey of your daughter and her husband.
Yeah.
You know, right now, young couple, young black couple.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful.
My daughter and my bestie.
Your daughter and your bestie?
The girls, they always fight me for that. They're like, oh yeah, since Africa came in, it's like your bestie. We are just your daughters. And you love him more than you love us.
But I can see how you guys
wanted a son.
I can see how you guys can get along. I'm sure there's just like a lot of noise in the house when he's around.
Yes. Yeah. Oh no, we make so much noise.
Yeah.
What an amazing man. I mean, he's such a beautiful
He's a
person.
sweetheart.
Yeah.
And I mean, and then your daughter married him, and
yes.
They have the most beautiful relationship. I
Yeah.
mean, I binge on their YouTube channel.
Yeah. Oh no, how crazy is that channel though?
I binge on that YouTube channel, just seeing Black love thrive.
Yeah.
And seeing also, I feel like I'm seeing an extension of you in her.
Well, all my daughters, I feel like they each took a certain element of me. So I look at Mphahlele and I see a lot of me. And then I look at Ntateng, there's a whole lot of me, which is a bit different from what Mphahlele has.
Yes.
And then Wotselo as well. She's got something else that the other 2 don't have. But then you put them together, I'm like, oh, okay. I kind of see it. So it's like a big, big, big extension of what I am, but then also infused with a lot of their own flavor, their own individualism, and them just becoming their own people. So it's so beautiful to see.
And what's beautiful is that as much as you are your children's biggest fan, they are your biggest fan too.
Yes.
You know, it's always so mind-blowing to see the synergy. It's like you guys are 4 sisters.
Yes.
Like Smash completely gate crashed a 4-sister clique.
Yes, yeah. And now he's the guy. And they're like, yeah. And then the other day they called me into a meeting because apparently, I don't remember what had happened, but they claimed that I actually told Africa first. And they're like, oh yeah, so we don't know things first. Now, I heard from Africa saying, Mama did this or Mama said this.
Yes.
Or it was something to do with work, but it was, since he's also in entertainment,
yes.
I felt like he would
you can
get
share
it.
with him.
He could get it. So I told him first without realizing that
I can completely relate.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, you and your bestie, you're a choose.
I can completely relate. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I mean, also, what kind of conversations do you guys have as like the girl clique?
We talk about everything. Everything. I think one of the most comforting things for me is, and it is not something that, it's not like I got it right overnight, but it was also a learning curve for myself. I like calling it the pay as you go experience, you know, when you realize that nobody taught you this, but you need to teach yourself for yourself and for your kids, because what my kids need and what I needed when I was their age are two different things.
Yeah.
And what my mother probably needed at that time is not what I had needed. And I think there's this generational gap that happens. We still go through the same things, but in a different way.
Yes.
So that means what was handled in a particular way in 1980, even though the same thing happens in 2021, it has to be handled differently. You know, now you don't need a paper telephone directory.
Yes, to go through in order to figure out exactly what you need.
No, you don't do that. And the world has just become so small. And even in ways of parenting, we need new ways, new ideas, new simplified manners, and simply just so that we can actually get to sit down and enjoy life and not worry about the actual manual of what is supposed to happen.
You know, there's so many things we're prone to as women in this country right now.
Yeah.
I think it's scary to imagine. I was on the phone with my mom the other day, and I was venting to her. There's so much you didn't prepare me for, like the stage of my life. And she goes, "But Ndanam, I also didn't know when I was going through them, and I wouldn't have known how to articulate them until you had to get into them."
Yeah, that's my favorite line. My favorite line is like, Lena ke makala lo wena.
Oh my gosh.
Let's get surprised together. That's my favorite line.
And
girl, Linda ke makala lo wena. Who would have thought? Same thing.
And I said to my mom, how could you not make me bulletproof at least?
No,
you know?
There's no amount of preparation. There's nothing wrong with preparing. But then things, when they happen, it's just that sometimes when you're like slightly prepared, you know how to handle it, but it doesn't mean it will not hit you. It will not find you. It will not confuse you or derail you. You still have to go through all of that. So in fact, the preparation, you don't prepare for the hit. You prepare for when you get up after the hit.
Yes.
The hit comes anyway, irrespective of who you are, where you are.
That is such a wake-up call. Because maybe you'll tell me something different.
No.
Yeah, and very soon you're going to be Coco Rami.
Yes.
And
so we're waiting for Dino.
Ooh, congratulations, baby Dino.
Who might land on my birthday. So
really?
Dino mustn't be that one. No. I need my birthday alone.
It's going to be your birthday gift, Phela. Whether baby Dino comes just before or just after,
when baby Dino comes on my birthday, that means I can't even throw a party on my birthday. No. It will be my birthday, but
baby Dino's party.
You see?
I get it like the birthday party and then adult after party.
What if I want to go to Maldives, to Dubai, to France and things like that?
Now you must be having baby Dino there.
Ordering balloons. Guys, no.
And how does being a grandmother make you feel? Like, how are you
I'm very excited.
Internalizing all of that?
I'm very excited. And I think what excites me is that I feel like I have the energy, the physical energy to deal with a baby. The baby comes when I'm not tired, when I'm not exhausted, when all of us still have life and we are excited about life. We are all abled, and not only, and then the resources are there. And when I mean resources, I'm not just talking about money being there, but when you've got 5 people who are fully abled, who have got minds that are alert, who are aware, who knows how life is going, then it helps. So it becomes like a collective effort. Yes. So it's like a child of the little village.
Yes.
Who understand that. So that's how it is. I mean, my niece had a daughter, Mohau, who is crazy. She was crying for me yesterday. She wanted to drive with me back to Joburg. And what has helped Mohau to be the person that she is, even though she is only 2, is that, 3, she will kill me, is that she had a collective village of people who are alert, active, involved. And I think that is one of the best gifts you can give to a child.
Parenting within this beautiful community. Oh, that is so beautiful. I mean, I can't wait for you to be a grandmother. I can't wait to watch Rami, the grandmother, like come alive.
Okay, I've bought everything already. Okay, almost everything. I'm so useless. Like seriously.
I can't wait to see this, like this you come alive, and for like social media to like pop off with these like baby and granny images.
I was like, Shem, we will be like just advertising anything and everything.
It's going to, Baby Dino is going to be so popping.
In my house.
But I want to tap into and talk more about now the industry, the unconventional way in which you've maneuvered and moved within the industry. And then you also went on to translate the SK Mphahlele play. But let's start with, every industry has its own challenges.
Yeah.
You've also, you've gone through your fair share of exploitation, ill treatment, not receiving fair pay, being set aside or being criticized as a female actress, and not being seen in all your fullness as an actor. What do you think, if we would pinpoint one of the main issues that we need to solve in this industry that will kind of have a ripple effect on playing equalizer, what would it be? What would you say it should be?
I think one of the biggest players is, and I'm strictly going to stick to black, being black people. I always say that is because so many of the things that we do are so effortless. They come so naturally. In fact, as a black people, but women especially, black women especially, you find someone is a single mother, they're earning 2,000 or 2.5 a month, but somehow they manage to take 6 kids to school, to university, there's food in the house, there's electricity, there's clothes on your back, there's running water. And sometimes I sit back and I wonder, how do they get it right? Because now with the kind of bills that we pay to maintain the lifestyle that we have, you look at 2.5 and you're like, but that's dinner. And it's not even dinner for 20 people. That's dinner for 3-4 people. So, and I think in the industry, that's one of the things that we need, because women have always made means and made ways to make things happen. So that is now somehow more undermined. It's like, of course, we expect you to be excellent. But then when the guys are doing, he lifts a mug and we're like, wow, he lifted a mug. Can you believe it? And here's this woman with 3 sacks of potatoes on her head and a baby on her back, another one on her arm and a suitcase. And we're just like, oh no, but she knows how to do that, Yeah, women are strong, women are rocks. And that has just put so much less value in what we bring, in what we do. Instead, it should actually be elevated. We need more value, we need more respect. And in terms of, even when it comes to salaries, for instance, the difference between what a male lead earns and what a female lead earns is different. And it's not just in South Africa, everywhere in the world. The paycheck, Denzel's paycheck, if you compare to Viola David's paycheck, miles and miles away from each other, worlds apart. So I feel like a lot of value needs to be put on what women do. And in the industry, and it mustn't just be looked at as, we are not additions, which is why I respect people who bring out dramas where we now have female leads, where we have female leads taking over, doing this, doing that. It changes the narrative altogether, saying that, by the way, we don't have a lead actor in this series. We've got lead actresses and maybe a few supporting actors. And that's what must, that's the shift.
The language itself needs to shift.
The language itself needs to shift. And also, I think it would also help a lot if people didn't see women, and even now some men, as sexual objects, because, we're just tired of being fillers. You are extras, and people forget that you're also talented. You can think for yourself. You could run the ship if they allow you to sit in the driver's seat, And I think more opportunities and more money. More money. Pay the people what they deserve more than anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And do you think the new generation of actors, and I'm saying actors universally,
Yeah.
are actually carrying through this message, whether they are male or female? Are they carrying through this message and advocating correctly for those things to happen?
I think there's a few of them who are doing that, but it is quite difficult. And I'm going to be the first one to not be the one to judge those who don't know how to go about it, because that's why we call freelancers struggling artists. You're trying to break into the industry, and someone who can actually hold the door open for you, they already have a long list of prerequisites or demands of the things that you need to go through for you to go through the door. And sometimes it compromises completely who you are or what you believe in. And yet there's this door that you really, really, really want to enter. So it is very, very difficult. And I salute those ones that will always speak up and that come up. And they are being, sidelined sometimes here and there. And thankfully, with the world being so small, you deny someone talent here, next thing they're international. And you're like, oh, isn't that the same girl that other production kind of got rid of because they and next thing there she is. And but she's our star. No, yes. She is so not. She is so not, because you're trying to gag her. So it is so complicated. So which is why it's important for older people, older as in like more experienced people who've been in the industry for longer, yes, to be able to just stand up and say their piece, because I also feel like we have absolutely nothing to lose. I'm at an age where I think that it's either I do it and I don't. And if I don't do it, it doesn't matter. Yeah. I'll find someone else who would want to do it.
And this brings me to my next question. You've never been the conventional person either, whether it's in your acting career, whether it's in the way you perform.
Yeah.
You've never been conventional.
No, I don't know what that is.
Even when you've been given something small.
Yes.
You've never just taken it as just...
No.
You've always been like, how can I make this worth my while?
Yes.
And and show them what they could get.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Even in your music career.
Yeah.
It was never just about, I'm going to get into music, I'm going to sing.
Yeah.
It was literally, let me show them.
Yeah.
Let me put out a performance.
Yes.
Let me get a band together.
Yes.
Where does this unconventional thinking, because you've always been ahead of your time, and we've caught up to that. Yeah. And I think in our generation, there's women such as yourself, Rami, that have been unconventional in the way that they did things, but without seeing it, you've opened the door for us to think differently about our craft and our art. Yeah. Where does that hunger to push boundaries, to do more, even when no one is watching?
I think
or at least when you think no one is watching.
Yeah, I think it comes from that thing that I honestly believe that as much as we think, there's this whole thing, South Africa is such a third world country, third world continent. We are third in everything. And yet everyone comes here to take the best and the finest of what we have to offer. And they run with it, and they amplify it, and they commercialize it. And one of my biggest passions is for people who live with me, who are in my surroundings, people who come across me. I need them to understand that what we hold dear, or what we have within us, it is so strong that, for instance, I don't think if I were to wake up tomorrow and find myself sitting across one of the biggest stars or some of the biggest stars of the world, whether it's Viola, Taraji, Regina King, Angela Bassett, Morgan Freeman, Denzel Washington, you name them, I would still want to walk into that room and not feel intimidated at all. I would probably stand there and say, what an honor and a blessing to get to work with you. But then I also want to realize that God really loves them. He gave them an opportunity to experience me. Yeah. So it is like, so we are all equal, and we've got anything and everything that people think they have. We all have it. We just need a platform. We need an army of believers who understand that what we have is bigger than what the world actually has to offer. Because if we didn't have that, we wouldn't be having people coming here to handpick this one, handpick that one, do this, whether from minerals, from talent, from textiles, from you name it, we have it. And I also want people to understand that we have it here and there's absolutely nothing and no one who can take it away from us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You went on to translate a very important part of history, Mphahlele, a father come home play.
Yes.
Into Sepedi.
Yeah.
This is very important. And, you know, as a young person, I don't quite fathom, but I do fathom how important this is for our generation.
It is.
To understand, to see, and to value our languages.
Yeah.
What was the journey of having this task, and not just a task, but it's an honor, but a task.
Yeah.
Trying to find the word.
It was the Great Commission.
I think that's it.
It felt like that because I didn't just
encapsulate the story.
Yeah, I actually didn't even translate the play. I translated the book itself, and then the book then was adapted into a play. So I mean, you can first of all, I was blown away that James Ngo asked me to translate the book. Then the book itself blew me completely out of the waters because Professor Mphahlele writes with such passion, with such a heart, and what resonated me with him is the same frustrations that I have, for instance, with the entertainment industry. It's the same frustrations that I have sometimes with when I see how people parent, and you can't tell other people how to parent,
yes,
but you know when you know that way it's not going to be the way to go. So he would write with such frustration because I believe that Professor Mphahlele understood and knew fully the kind of power that we have as a people. And not only was he trying to tell the world the kind of power that we have, more than anything, he was trying to tell us the kind of power that we possess, the kind of magic that we have, that absolutely nobody has. My favorite example is that when you walk into a room full of white people and you sing Happy Birthday, they all come in different keys.
Yes.
But then with us, all I need to say is, everyone comes in, and then they all harmonize. We haven't practiced, no rehearsal. We don't know each other.
Yes.
But we'll sing in one accord, with power, in harmony. And it is beautiful. Yeah. So can you imagine if we're able to make such beautiful magic when we don't know each other? What more when we know each other?
Sure.
You know?
Sure. And I think that's exactly it. That's the division that was caused amongst us.
Yeah.
In that even when we know each other, we find each other as threats.
Yeah.
That was part of the system that was meant to destroy us.
Definitely.
So
definitely.
Imagine if we looked past, we looked past what the division was, and we saw each other as humans, and we saw each other as people, and we saw each other as we share a commonality.
Yeah.
And this is what we protect.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's what destroys us, and what destroys us as black people amongst each other.
Yeah.
The system was made to do that.
Definitely.
If we just go mindset-wise in with that, we know that it was meant to destroy us. We do everything possible to not allow it to.
Bring it back, yeah.
If you know that there's a parasite in your home, you move furniture, you do anything.
Look for it until you find it.
Until you find it, and you get it out.
Yeah.
You also mentioned that the person that got you into singing and into music, there's an interview where you said Lucia
Mtiani,
said, pushed you and gave you the nudge.
Yeah.
She was instrumental in you getting into music. Take us back to those days.
Yeah, at that point, when I met Lucia, we were doing a lot of industrial theater for different corporate companies, and when we start when we get to talk, what else do you do? No, I sing, and then even industrial theater will be singing and all of that. So she knows that I wanted to always do stage singing. People sometimes don't get that we've got different types of singers or performers. Someone does opera, someone does classical, someone does jazz, someone does choral. Choral music. It's all teachers, doctors, lawyers, they meet in the evening somewhere, they rehearse.
Yes.
Jiki jiki, they're on TV, they're singing, you know? And that's how they actually stimulate themselves. So we've got different types of musicians. But I've always been what we used to call a cabaret singer. And I do a lot of live, you know, corporate companies and all, corporate shows. So, and now there was a point where Lucia had double booked herself, and she was like, okay, I'm not going to be able to cancel. So I can cancel one of the shows and do the other one. So she called the other client and say, I'm not feeling well. I don't know what excuse she used. I think she said she wasn't feeling that well, but there's someone who's going to come and sing for me. And they're like, no, you can't. Just like, listen, she sings as good as she is perfect. Trust me. She's going to come. She's going to blow your minds away. And then I get to Lucia's house. Point number one, I don't have any clothes. I don't have shoes. I don't have makeup. Nothing. Lucia, there she goes, helps me with makeup, gives me shoes, gives me wardrobes, gives me everything.
Wow.
Sends me to those people. I get there and I sing. And that was the beginning. And I was singing a lot of Tina Turner. And from that day onwards, I haven't stopped singing since.
Wow.
Since. And that's how I started being a stage performer. And people will be like calling, oh yeah, where's that girl? Lucia, where's that girl that used to sing? And we started, and then I did Girl Talk as well. Even with Girl Talk.
I've got my aunt who did Girl Talk.
Who?
Elnora.
Elnora!
Yes,
Oh
she did Girl Talk.
Is amazing. Yes. I know Elnora. Yes, we were in Girl Talk. Wow. Wow. Yeah. So Lucia was there as well. And after she had left Girl Talk, they wanted her to come back. And she was already starting to do other things. And then she suggested me. She says, go, man. They've got new auditions. Just go there, sing something. And then I rehearsed. And I got the part in Girl Talk.
Wow.
So I did Girl Talk the same year I did Backstage. So I would shoot Backstage in the day. They would release me an hour early.
But you guys used to work back then, hey? You nani sebenza, guys.
We worked so hard. So I would work until 6 o'clock.
And I remember,
get into
like,
the car, rush.
Some of the Girl Talk ladies would then rush on weekends to Sun City to go perform there in Sun City.
Yes. Others, they would be performing at restaurants and all of that. So I would rush with my Backstage makeup and then get there, kind of touch-ups, wear eyelashes. And there was a day where I literally got out of the car, Backstage, put on my first dress and ran to stage because I was stuck in traffic, you know? But managed to do 2 jobs, sometimes 3 jobs. There was a time I used to have 4 or 5 jobs. If I'm not singing, acting, I'm translating, transcribing, I'm doing voiceovers, I'm baking bread, I'm selling magwinya, I'm being a mother, and a wife then as well. You know, it was crazy.
Yeah,
but you did it all.
We did all and you did it all seamlessly. Might not have been easy. Yeah. But you managed to juggle them all.
Yeah. You like, but when you walk out, you don't look like your problems. I'm here now, and you wear the highest heels, and you still get to.
And you're still doing it all. You particularly are also very passionate in all of these things that you do, and still giving back.
Yeah.
It's big on your heart. Yes. Giving back is the true essence of who you are. Yeah. Whether it's in your advocacy work or giving back physically to the community. Yeah. We grew up in spaces where, you know, you could borrow sugar from next door. Yes. Now we live in isolated communities, and it's changed the patterns of how we give back. Yeah. And one of the things closest to your heart is being able to intentionally give back, and also make it a norm to give back into community. And that's what you do in everyday life. You've made it a norm to give back, as if you don't need to be a billionaire to give back. No. And that's how we've kind of normalized it as people that have been socialized into cities, etc. People live in high walls and we suffer in silence. How do we further embed the message, especially in our children, of the culture of giving back, no matter who you are, where you are, how much you have?
When I used to work like crazy, my kids would be with my mother. So they still managed to get that whole Lokshan feel. So they do kind of know how to give back. But even right now with Mphahlele, because I also help run a soup kitchen in Bryanston, where every Tuesday and Thursday we cook and we give food out. and then also have the foundation. But the essence of the whole thing is doing good where you are, because I think a lot of people would like to give back, but we have now monetized everything so much that you think that you need to have 2 million to start giving something back. It is about the tomato, the cup of sugar.
Absolutely.
It is about 2 bananas. It is about the onion. It is about, I've got potatoes, but you've got maize meal. So give me some of your maize, I'll give you some of my potatoes. So it is about the exchange. So I'm basically, so with what we do with the Rami Chuene Foundation, that is why our motto is do good where you are. You don't need to load trucks and trucks and go somewhere. No. Start with the little that you have. Then the trucks and the trucks will follow. So you basically just pay it forward from where you are sitting. So I do take my girls with me. They go, they help us cook. I mean, with Africa as well, we all go.
Yes.
When everyone is not working, they all come randomly. There are some days where I couldn't even go. And then next day when I go back to the kitchen, they're like, oh no, Africa was here. He's the one who cooked this and all of this and all of that. So they understand the essence of giving back, that it is not just about giving back, but it is also coexistence, because if I prosper alone and everyone else who's around me doesn't prosper, then that means I'm just a glorified failure.
Absolutely.
You know, you fail if the people that are around you are not doing well. We will never be the same.
Yeah.
We've got levels. It's the hierarchy. That's just how the world
That's how
works.
we keep it thriving. You keep this hierarchy thriving.
Exactly. The hierarchy is there. But it doesn't mean we cannot change the status quo. It doesn't mean that I should be okay with having everything when someone has absolutely nothing. So the best is actually just with whatever little that we have here, use that, give it out. Sometimes it's when you're there, you're paying for your groceries. There's a lady there, you can see she's elderly, that she probably is going to buy with her 350 rand. And we are both like, I mean, these things are 99 rand.
Yeah.
And just say, Mama, can I just pay for this, you know? And then she saved herself 99 rand. It is not just about going, yeah, I'm donating 10 cars. No, I would love to get there. But right now, while we are getting to the donating of 10 cars, you get a car, we get a car, everybody gets a car. State. You cannot get to that level if you don't start small.
Yeah.
So it's also trying to emphasize the communal spirit. You know, you talk about high walls. I want those high walls gone in 4 ways. It doesn't mean even in my high walls, I still want to be able to say the neighbor opposite me, the one diagonal, the one next door. They can still come to my house and say, oh, our electricity is cut, can we cook? I mean, one of the best things that I give out is the Wi-Fi.
The Wi-Fi pin?
I know, yeah, I know you've got homework. I know your kids have homework, it's fine. That's the Wi-Fi. Yeah, they can just come. You know, even from, oh, can we come and swim in your house? Let the kids swim, man.
Yeah.
You know, it takes nothing away from you. But it's just those little things.
It is.
Yeah, so people don't have to wait until they're like filthy rich to start doing good things.
And you launched this foundation that you have, the Rami Chuene Foundation, on your 45th birthday.
Yes.
45th, yes. I said that right.
Yes.
Almost thought I said it the other number, of which you would have called me out on.
Yes.
But you launched it on your 45th birthday. How can the everyday person contribute?
Contribution, basically, it's like what I just said.
We can do it in our spaces.
Do it in your spaces.
Okay.
Do it in your spaces. It's not also. I also don't like. I'm not crazy about handling money, because next thing I'm gonna take the money and buy a car. I'm kidding. but I'm trying to say it is not just about the money. You know. And which is why on my birthday I got stuff, gave to people. I said, that's your gift, but that gift doesn't belong to you. Go give to someone else who needs it. So it is that. That's what we're trying to do. That it is not just about, oh yeah, well, I just donated 20 liters of water to these people. No. It doesn't have to get to 20 liters. Sometimes the 5 liters group. Buy 2 and then give someone 1.
Yeah.
Because we all know where these people live.
We do.
I mean, especially with the kitchen, the soup kitchen. I know all the corners now. You'll be surprised. Guys, there's a whole city, under the northern suburbs. The bridges down William Nicole, there by Peter Place, behind in Bryanston, everywhere. Everywhere. There are people who live there. And when I say people who live there, I'm not talking about 2 families. I'm talking about people in their hundreds, 500 people living in one area.
Wow.
In the day, you don't see it. You just see tlhaga. You see nothing. It's only when the food comes out, you see people coming out of the shadows to come and eat. And then they go back.
Look at how
There's a
ignorant
whole
I've been.
city under Joburg
Wow.
that needs to be taken care of.
And I always wonder, these people that have lost their jobs, have lost their homes, have been repossessed,
Yeah.
have gone completely bankrupt, have lost everything in our city and our living communities.
Yes.
Ask yourselves, where have they gone?
Yes, and we're not talking about bums. You know, people, you know, when you see the hobo construction, you just think, oh, these people, this is good for nothing. Nobody wants to work. I've seen people there, they're engineers, people have matric, people have degrees, people...
Hectic.
The other one that I met
I
was
just had
studying
no
to be a
idea that they
pilot.
are there.
Yeah, they're educated, they're fluent, they speak, they think, they articulate themselves properly, and you're looking at him thinking, oh my God, what else can we do? You know, the other was like, yeah, man, I've got my matric results. I just need you to make a few copies for me so I can certify them at the police station. He gives it the certificate, A. You're like, wait a minute. This is not a bum. This is just someone who's just had it rough.
This is not somebody
And
that made,
all
you
they
know...
need is an opportunity. And some of those opportunities are not just going to come from government, are going to come from us as a people, because at the end of the day, we can complain about governance, we can complain about the government.
Over and over
but
and
we
over.
are the actual government. And
Thank
once
you.
we start doing things the way we want, the way we should be doing them, the government has no choice but to bow down and find us. They'll stop looting the money because they realize that, in fact, it's not about that money. Be embarrassed for yourself. We've got bigger and better things to do for our community.
Like, can you be namahloni?
You know?
Yeah. But, you know, there's a lot of work that must still be done. There's a lot of work that must still be done in our country. There's a lot of work that we must still do in terms of advocacy for this country. And your work is never done.
No.
And never mind your work not being done in the doing good as well as giving back. But you're always up to something. What are you going to be up to next?
Well, up to next, well, I'm sure you heard that How to Ruin Christmas is coming back. They've made the announcement, so that's what I'll be doing.
Are we ruining Christmas again?
Always. Always. We'll be ruining it. Like, there's no choice. It shall be ruined. Nothing goes right with those two families. And that's what I'll be doing. I'm also starting a new project that I'll be traveling all over the country. Helping people fix their lives, relationships, and all of that.
Yes.
And which is something that is close to my heart. I just think we deserve a series of good stories. We deserve a series of positive vibes and building and just, you know, towards that. I mean, I think the era of wretchedness, the era of let's see how low you can go. I think those eras, they're gone now. And I think it's time to now just come back and focus on ourselves. And
like trash TV is nice, but can we have some also good stories being told?
Yeah, like let's not have a lot of it, just a pinch of it.
Yes, and then
with a
good
whole
stories.
bath of good stories.
Thank you.
And I think that's what we should be doing. And and who else knows where I will end up? I don't know. But right now, those are the two projects that I'm doing.
Yeah. And being an international superstar on Netflix.
Yes, of course. Yeah,
thank you so much for joining us. Truly appreciate you making time for me.
Absolutely.
And coming on to the sit down.
Yes, I'm doing it for Malik because Malik is my favorite person.
I'll tell him. Yes. I asked him yesterday, so Malik, when are you coming to the sit down? He says, when I'm working.
I don't see anything wrong with that statement.
I'm like, okay, so when you're working, when you're making money? He's like, yes, when I'm working.
Yeah.
And I have money.
Well, I think he's basically saying he better be getting paid.
I better be getting paid.
Yeah, I get him.
Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of The Sit Down with Rami Chuene. Please do join us next time. See you.